This is a continuation of a story I started talking about. It may have been last week, it may have been the week before. But let me remind you that Idaho has something in their constitution here that's called the Blaine Amendment. And we're going to read some of this because it is important. But basically, if you're not familiar, a Blaine Amendment is a failed amendment to the US Constitution that would have said no taxpayer dollars can be used to support religion, religious schools, religious ministries, things like that. It was in 1875. It did not get into the US Constitution. However, 37 states have adopted their own state level versions of the Blaine Amendment. And the thing you're looking at behind me here, this is Idaho's. And you could see this is in their state constitution. It says at the top, Section 5, sectarian appropriations prohibited. And what it says is the legislature, cities, counties, school districts, whatever, you can't give any public funding, no money will go to any church or sectarian or religious society or any religious purpose or school or anything. You can't use it for religion. You can use it for like health facilities for whatever reason. That's the exception to the rule. Otherwise, you can't use taxpayer money to promote religion in any way. And that's a good law. Like, that's how it should be. And the reason I brought this up recently is because Idaho lawmakers tried to pass a bill recently. Let me show you this. House Joint Resolution 1. It's the first thing they want to do in Idaho this legislative session. And it basically, you could see in the highlight here, what would House Joint Resolution 1 do? Well, it proposes an amendment to the state constitution to repeal the prohibition on sectarian appropriations. They want to go back to the state constitution, and they basically want to erase that whole bit. They want to get rid of Section 5. That's what this bill would do. Now, because this is a change to the state constitution, 2/3 of the Idaho House needs to pass this bill. 2/3 of the Idaho Senate needs to pass this bill. Then it would go to voters, and like 50% of voters would have to pass this bill. So this is where we left off like a couple of weeks ago. That's what they were trying to do. And this is why I got excited, because on Tuesday recently, this bill was being discussed in front of the House State Affairs Committee. And this is the sort of committee hearing where people can, and they say, I'm for it. Let me make a 2-minute speech about why I'm for it. Or I'm against it, and here's why I'm against it. And I was happy to see that there was a Satanist who had signed up to deliver public comments. But to my surprise, this Satanist said they were for the House Joint Resolution 1. They wanted to repeal the Blaine Amendment. And that seemed wrong. Why would a Satanist want to repeal the Blaine Amendment? Don't we want church-state separation? Well, I'm going to show you what that Satanist said. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Their name is Rowan Astra. And again, this is the public comments portion where you get 2 minutes to say whatever you want. So here's what Rowan said. Enjoy.
Rowan, state your name and who you represent. We'll give you 2 minutes today for public testimony.
Hello, my name is Rowan Astra. I represent Satanic, Idaho. I'm here to support this. Personally, I'm excited about the ability to truly represent religious plurality, which is a value that's upheld in Idaho and the United States of America. So I look forward to the opportunity to be able to start a Satanic K-12 performing arts school and being able to have access to the same funds that any other religious school would have. And with that, I'll end my testimony.
That right there. That is amazing. That is either brilliant trolling or just an awesome plan for the future, right? They're saying they want the state taxpayer dollars in order to open up a Satanic K-12 school, which is awesome. I also like this tweet, or whatever we're calling them these days, responding to that statement. We Satanists are very excited to bring a range of ideas and philosophies to Idaho's youth: critical race theory, gender sciences, and a fully stocked banned book library. Yes, do it. That would be glorious. That sounds fantastic. Now, I will also tell you that the lawmakers didn't say anything after Rowan spoke, but a few minutes later, they did hear testimony from a woman named Catherine Hartley, who is a lawyer for the right-wing Pacific Justice Institute. And Catherine Hartley also supports the Blaine Amendment, but for all the wrong reasons. I'm sorry, I should say she supported the Blaine repeal for all the wrong reasons. But there was a lawmaker, Vito Barbieri, who questioned what she thought as a lawyer about what Rowan Astra just said. Basically, he said, if we pass this repeal and it's successful, would that mean we have to give equal distribution of public funds to Satanists and others? And what did Hartley say in return? She said, if you pass this repeal, it would allow any religious group to utilize any benefit that's offered by the state. Generally speaking, she said, yes, it would be open to all faiths. She did add that there was a loophole, like if the state felt that giving money to a certain group was really concerning for big reasons. Like they were concerned about something else. That bar is really high, but if you can meet it, there is a way to prevent that from happening. That's called strict scrutiny. It's a very high bar. But otherwise, she said Satanists could have access to that money. Yeah. Basically admitting that what Rowan was asking about was legitimate. And that disturbed Barbieri. That seemed to disturb the other Republicans. And I want to show you this. This is the headline that showed up like that night. Look at this beautiful headline. Resolution that could allow public funds to go to religious schools put on pause. They didn't vote in that committee to pass the repeal. I don't know if they had the votes, but this is amazing. Look at this. Representative Joe Palmer, a Republican who made the motion to hold the legislation so that it couldn't get passed, said he supported it, but he had technical questions that he couldn't get answers to at the moment. He didn't elaborate on the questions, and he wasn't available for questions following the meeting. That is amazing. Did he hold up the legislation because of the Satanism concerns? I don't know. But it clearly clogged up what could have been an otherwise straightforward vote. I actually asked Rowan Astra, do you think the testimony that you gave helped steer the bill off course? And Rowan told me, quote, I believe in a small way, yes. And honestly, I tend to agree with all that. So the Blaine repeal is not dead. It's temporarily delayed. They could vote on it tomorrow for all I know. But as it stands, they're right to delay it. I'm sure Republicans are hoping this repeal effort just kind of goes away because they don't want to deal with it. Because the Idaho Constitution is correct on this matter. The Blaine Amendment is correct here. There's no reason for lawmakers and voters to undo it because it's a fine law as written. They don't need taxpayer money to go to religious places and just make things worse for everybody, while also giving taxpayer dollars to, fringe is the wrong word, but smaller religious groups. And by the way, if you allow taxpayer dollars to go to religious groups, you're going to start seeing voucher programs that a lot of states have now, where they siphon money away from public schools so that they go to private religious schools. And that would be horrible too.